half full. And this is important because we can really, our inner meanie, our inner critic, it'd be fantastic at letting us know that the cup is half empty all day long. And my favorite thing to do is to point out in what way it's half full. Because at any given time, what makes a difference is recognizing your strength and remembering how special you are. And that seems sort of trite these days. Oh, remember you're special. Oh, who cares? You know, I feel awful. So I want to give you a couple of new tools. The first one is, if you're really feeling awful and you're convinced that even if you had my number and you could call me in that second and you know I was going to really, really stop you from being in a grumpy mood, there's a few things I'm going to recommend. One of them is use music. Particularly play something that reminds you of a happy moment. And it could be something that, you know, if you can remember a song from your childhood even, and if you can sing it, even better. If you can't, but if you can find it on YouTube and play it, if it makes you laugh, good. If it makes you cry, better. And if it's so silly that it gets you laughing, best. Laughter is key. Another one that makes a big difference is go on YouTube, it's a resource for all of us, and look for something hilarious. And purposefully watch funny cat videos, funny dog videos, whatever it takes, but get yourself laughing. Know that if one person starts laughing, another one will. There's one video of a guy who, the entire video is that he gets on a train, he says nothing, he just sits down among all these really depressed people, and he starts laughing. And these people looking at him like, is he nuts? He's got to be crazy. And in the process, he just keeps laughing like it's just the most hilarious thing ever. And the people start to giggle because he's so silly. And then another one laughs, and it starts this chain reaction. And he gets and then they really, really start laughing, and the whole thing gets going. And new people come on, and they start laughing at the new people who come on just because they showed up and don't even know what's going on. And then he quietly gets off the train and gets on another one. He does the same thing. And this powerful gesture of what's possible is an example of what can happen when if you are in an office with other people and you are aware that everyone else is grumpy but you, and you're feeling, a lot of times I'll get the call, okay, I'm in an environment of very negative people. Catherine, walk me off, tell me how to get out of this. What do I do? And obviously, if you're at work, you can't necessarily sing a song out loud. And you can't necessarily, play a video. But what you can do is, if you think of something funny in yourself, if you can remember a hilarious moment, you can use the power of your mind to remember something really, really good and already start to shift your energy. Now, physically, one of the things that also makes up a difference is that your circulation, your body, and when you're depressed, when you're stressed out, your brain is releasing chemicals into your system. Your bloodstream is going to get full of them. So if you get bad news, and it's horrible news, know that your body has just dosed you with a combination of adrenaline and a few other things. So you're literally on a stress you've literally had a stress martini. So you want to be aware that when you've just gotten a call that is really shattering to you, know that your body is now dosed with its own self-protection. It might be a combination of adrenaline, but when you feel that sort of that horrid, that pit of the stomach, ugh.
Yes.
So when you get that, first of all, be aware that you need to get it out of your system. So drink more water. If you can find a way to sweat a little, if you're physically disabled, even if you can just raise your arms and just do some movement, it makes a difference. But water, getting a chance to sweat, get it out of your system, take a bath, take a shower. Physically be aware that you need to get some purity. And know that it's your body's effort to protect itself, but that you don't need that. Another opportunity is, have a cup of tea, have something that will give you some rejuvenation, some warming, some self-love. The other big thing is there's always at least one person that's your go-to person that loves you no matter what. Call them up. Make that phone call. And the best thing to do with that phone call is start by saying why you appreciate them, why they're valuable, why you're grateful to them. And in that moment that you give them your gratitude, you're going to feel good because you're giving a gift. And it's going to open your heart, And that already starts a chain reaction to shift the energy of what's really. And then after you've given that gratitude, you can, if they should ask, great. If they don't, and don't hold it against them, but it may be up to you to say, you know what, today was really hard, and I need to be vulnerable for a minute, which is going to take a lot of courage, but I need to tell you what's going on with me. And be in your courage to know that when you open up that way, what you're creating is connection. I wrote an article for the newspaper which we have here, the Asian Pacific News and Review, at the first of the year, called Empathy is the New Currency. Because right now the most valuable thing that we can offer each other to show that we have a reason to connect is that we understand the pain, that we understand what someone's going through, because people can see it in our eyes. And when they see that we know how hard something was, there's now a rapport that begins. And usually, while trust takes a long time, believe it or not, there's some preliminary trust that grows. And it's interesting. I read a powerful quote by Osho, and I can't quote it, but I definitely want to share the essence, which is that joy and sadness are like a tree. Sadness is the roots that ground us, because in our sadness, when things happen, we remember what's important, we remember what's precious. And it brings us deeper into ourselves. Whereas happiness are like the branches that are moving in the wind, that are touched by the sun, that have expansion. But you need both, or you really need the balance. So our most difficult times are actually opportunities to learn and to connect. So instead of looking at, oh my gosh, I have this horrible situation, how am I going to get out of it? You can think of it as, which is what I usually say, is what are you learning? And who are you reaching out to? I have friends that I will, they will call me and say, I'm so sorry, but I needed to tell you about this. And I'll say, I'm so grateful. Because if you were really fine, we probably wouldn't talk for months. So I'm actually really okay that you're having trouble, because I love to help people, and I love you, and I love to help, and I'm so glad that you called. And in that moment, think about who it is that you haven't talked to in a while because you've been fine. And what's interesting is that you have people who, when they're not okay, they go silent. Mm-hmm. And because a lot of times when people are fine, they go silent, they kind of hide in that, well, if I don't say anything, then you'll probably think I'm fine, but really, it's worse than ever. And so what we want to do is make that motion to connect with their emotion, to be able to say, how are you? I miss your smile. I appreciate the joy you bring into my life. And life is short. So we want to be able to take action. We want to be able to say, and the best thing to do when you do reach out to them, laugh, think something really funny. And remember that the pieces that really do offset vulnerability are, the number one thing is gratitude. Being aware of being enough that you are, that there's value. Makes a big difference.